came back into the market in a very big way.
What we know now is Wall Street can bring down Main Street.
People are seeing this, and those memories of fear are coming back.
When you have a 401k or a 403b, those kinds of accounts, they are incredibly susceptible to downturns.
The Dow Jones Industrial Average dropped more than 900 points. More than 900 points.
There are questions about how to best save for retirement.
Part of the problem is confusion.
Time keeps on slipping into the future.
The first rule in investment is don't lose. And the second rule in investment is don't forget the first rule. And that's all the rules there are.
When the market goes up, you go up. When the market goes down, you don't go down. Safe Money Radio, your money safe and sound.
Welcome to Safe Money Radio with your host, Brad Pistole. Brad is a retirement and income specialist, primarily serving Springfield, but he's sought after nationally for his expertise in helping people secure their retirements. Mr. Pistole is a licensed life insurance professional in the states of Missouri, Arkansas, and Kansas, and he specializes in working with people who are near retirement and those who have already retired with wealth management, income planning, and asset protection strategies.
Safe Money Radio, your money safe and sound.
And now, here to talk with you about securing your retirement, your host, Brad Pistole.
Friends, thank you so much for joining us today. You're in for a very special treat. Today, my good friend and world-renowned economist, Tom Hegna, is back with us again to talk about retirement income planning. Tom, thank you so much for joining us again on Safe Money Radio.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'm coming to you live from Arizona. You know, we spend our summers up in Flagstaff. We spend our winters down in the Phoenix area. Pretty good weather all year round.
For those of you who don't know who Tom is, let me tell you a little bit about him. Tom is a former senior executive officer at New York Life. He's a retired lieutenant colonel, and he's a nationally recognized economist. He has delivered over 5,000 seminars helping baby boomers and seniors retire the optimal way. He has condensed a large amount of his considerable knowledge into 5 books. And his popular public television special, Don't Worry, Retire Happy, has played in over 80 million homes in the United States and Canada. Tom is recognized nationally as the retirement income expert, and he specializes in creating simple and powerful retirement solutions that are based on math and science. So stay with us today because I'm going to tell you how you can get a free copy of Tom's best-selling book, Don't Worry, Retire Happy. 7 Steps to Retirement Security. Now let's jump right into the things that everyone seems to be talking about right now. Tom, in 2022 and 2023, the Feds made several interest rate hikes, and now it feels like we're back in a high interest rate environment. So I'm sure some of our listeners might be considering putting a big chunk of their money into savings accounts or treasury bills. That might be okay for the money that they need for emergencies, but what about the money they need for the rest of their lives? And talk about why this is one of the best times there ever has been to use part of your retirement money to secure the guarantees that annuities are currently offering.
Well, you know, I think it's very important for people to have some liquidity. And, you know, I have some money in a money market fund. The problem with liquidity is it's also pretty expensive because you get a lower interest rate. Now rates are a little better now. Because you can get 4, maybe even 5% in a money market fund. So yeah, that's good for liquid money. But the nice thing about annuities is that you get to lock in these higher rates for the rest of your life. You see, with a bond, yeah, a 2-year bond, the interest rate is really good right now. But what happens in 2 years if interest rates go down? Well, then that's what you're stuck with. But right now, the insurance companies price pretty much off the 10-year treasury for most of their products. And if you got a 10-year treasury near highs, you're gonna have higher payout rates, really pretty much locked in for the rest of your life. So I think you need to have some liquidity, but you also need to know what's going on in the growth world, what's happening in the market, and annuities can give you, some of that upside without the downside.
That's right, Tom. My listeners often hear me say that I own 6 annuities, and in 2023, I purchased another annuity because the interest rates and guarantees were just too good to pass up. so I appreciate you sharing that information. Now, one of the hottest topics concerning retirement planning today involves long-term care. And research shows that a large number of retirees have chosen not to secure an LTC policy either because of the cost or the inability to medically qualify for it. What many retirees don't know is that there are literally dozens of products that have simplified underwriting and they are asset-based. So that means there are no monthly premiums and you maintain access to your money. If you don't use it for long-term care, you can use it for other things. So why do you believe retirees need to talk to a retirement planning expert about long-term care?
Well, I say this, long-term care is the one thing that most people forget about that can wipe out their entire retirement, okay? So it's a big deal. And I say any plan is better than no plan. So I hope people go out and buy long-term care insurance. I have a long-term care insurance policy with unlimited benefits. You can't even buy the policy that I have because I got it, years ago. But if you're not going to buy a long-term care policy, then I hope you look at a life insurance policy with a long-term care rider. That can serve three functions. Number one, it can be emergency fund, because if you need the money out, you can get money out. Number two, if you don't need long-term care and you die, it goes as a tax-free death benefit to your kids. But finally, if you do need long-term care, there's a big bucket of money there to help you with long-term care. Now, some people have medical problems. They cannot get approved for either long-term care or life insurance. Those people should look at annuities, and there are some even guaranteed issue annuities now that will give you some long-term care coverage. So that's another reason why I think it's so important to work with a financial professional. I've said for years, retirement is not a do-it-yourself project. You don't do your own dental work in your garage, and I don't think you ought to be doing your own retirement planning either. But long-term care is a problem that every retiree needs to face. And again, any plan is better than no plan.
I couldn't agree more. Doctors and dentists don't operate on themselves for a reason. Everyone needs a specialist to help them with their own specific needs. And if you're listening right now, you're in luck, because we have an entire team of retirement planning specialists who are trained to teach you how to keep your money safe and how to provide lifetime income that you can never outlive. We would love to give you a copy of Tom Hegna's best-selling book, Don't Worry, Retire Happy, 7 Steps to Retirement Security. Just give us a call at 866-780-SAFE. That's 866-780-7233. We will give you a copy of Tom's book and a copy of my Safe Money Kit that will show you how to use all of Tom's information to put together a bulletproof retirement income plan that is guaranteed to provide income to you for the rest of your life. You won't ever have to worry about stock market losses or running out of money ever again. Just give us a call and request a free financial consultation, and we will get you moving in the right direction. Our number again is 866-780-7233, and there's someone standing by right now to take your call. If you're just now joining the show today, we have world-renowned economist Tom Hegna as a guest. So let's jump right back into the topics that you want to learn more about. Tom, as part of our financial planning team here, we have a nationally recognized expert in Social Security planning, someone from Atlanta, Georgia, Heather Schreiber. And we create a complimentary Social Security report for anyone who wants to maximize their retirement income. Why is it so important for retirees to know how to maximize their Social Security before working with an expert?
Well, step number 2 in my book, Don't Worry, Retire Happy, is to maximize Social Security benefits. See, for most people don't realize that the largest retirement asset that most Americans have, it's their Social Security. There aren't that many pensions around anymore. 401ks, some people might have a bigger 401k account than their Social Security. Some people, their house might be worth more. But for most people, their Social Security benefit is the most valuable asset they have. If you're single, Social Security can pay over $500,000 over your lifetime. If you're married, it can pay you well over $1 million over both your lifetime. So you should take this very seriously. Too many people have not learned how to maximize their benefits. They listen to their buddies down at the coffee shop. They walk into Waffle House at 7 a.m., places loaded with wise men, sitting around the counter, drinking coffee, solving the world's problems. They walk in and they say, hey, what age should I draw my Social Security benefit? And you know what the wise men tell them? Oh man, haven't been reading the papers? This place is going broke. Get the getting while the getting's good. 62, 62, 62. Well, that's the Waffle House answer. That's the coffee shop answer. My question is that the right answer? And no, that is not the right answer. So what is the right answer? Well, here is the right answer. In general, the breadwinner should delay. I'll say it again. In general, the breadwinner should delay till age 66 or age 70 if they can. Why? Because the breadwinner's check covers both lives. Now, why did I say in general? Well, because everybody's different. You got to look at health status, medical conditions. Sometimes there's minor children in the house. I can give you specific reasons why some specific people should take their benefits early. But in general, the breadwinner should delay. So let's say we have a husband and wife. Let's say in this case, the husband made more money in his career than the wife. Well, the wife could take her benefit early. I don't care about that, okay? The lower earning spouse, whoever that is, can claim early if they want to. But the higher earning spouse, whoever it is, in this case, the husband, should wait till 66 or 70 if they can. Why? Because that check covers both lives. See, when he dies, which check does she get? She gets his. If he took his early, he locked her into a lower survivor benefit. Because the breadwinner's check covers both lives, in general, the breadwinner should delay. Now, all I'm asking is that, this is, I believe, the number one most important retirement decision a person's going to make, their Social Security start date. And all I'm asking is that people make an educated decision. Not a Waffle House decision, not a coffee shop decision. Just get the facts. Have your financial advisor run a printout showing you if you take your Social Security benefits early, and have them run one that if you delay. And you will see for yourself that this can impact retirements by hundreds of thousands of dollars over both your lifetimes. So again, all I'm asking is that people make an educated decision.
I couldn't agree more. That's why we are so blessed to work with experts like Heather Schreiber. Now, Tom, over the years, we've been blessed to speak at a lot of the same events all over the country. And at almost every single event, I hear you share something with your audience over and over again. I've heard you say that retirees need to ask themselves two very important questions. Please explain to our listeners what these two questions are and tell us why this is so important.
Yeah, so, I always tell people it's so important to have a plan. And part of having a plan is sitting down with a financial professional. And they're going to ask you questions, but you want to ask them some questions too. And a couple questions you want to have answered right out the gate. Number one, what do I need my retirement income to do? And then I would argue just as important, maybe more important, what do I want my retirement income to do? Well, the nice thing is what we need our retirement income to do is the same for all of us. It needs to cover our basic living expenses, our food, our housing, our clothing, our cell phone. I call that the paycheck. And what math and science, because, retirement's been studied in depth by PhDs all over the world, what math and science says is that paycheck should be covered with guaranteed lifetime income. Things like Social Security, things like pension, things like annuities. That's where they fit, is to cover that paycheck, your basic living expenses. But then what do I want my retirement income to do? That's the paycheck. That's the travel, that's the cruises, that's the fun stuff. And that money can be invested in other things. It can be invested in stocks and commodities and real estate and other things, okay? So again, this is what the math and science, all the retirement research says. You should cover your basic living expenses in retirement with guaranteed lifetime income, and then you can invest in other things on top of that.
That is excellent advice, Tom. Our world has changed a lot in recent years, and these changes have created a shift in thinking regarding several different aspects of financial planning and security. For example, I recently interviewed Dr. Wade Pfau from Retirement Researcher on the show, and he talked about how many financial planners there are that are shifting from a stock bond portfolio to a stock annuity portfolio approach. Why should a retiree consider replacing a bond portfolio with annuities? And what research do you have that supports this strategy?
It's interesting because in 2016, I wrote an article saying the 60-40 portfolio is dead, long-live life insurance and annuities. And the day that came out, I also got a call from Forbes magazine because I didn't know that Forbes subscribed to my newsletter, but they did. And they called me up and they said, Tom, we love that article. Can we put it in Forbes? I said, yeah, sure, put it in Forbes. So all that article said was that, remember, in 2016, interest rates were really low. Bonds were paying like 1%. Money market fund was paying like 0.15. Go back to those dates, okay? And I said it makes no sense at all to have 40% of your portfolio in bonds that are paying 1% or less. We didn't know when interest rates were going up, but we knew at some point interest rates would go up. And what happens to bonds when interest rates go up? Well, when interest rates go up, the value of bonds goes down. And when that 1% bond that you bought is now, you can buy the same bond for 5%. Guess what that 1% bond is worth? It's worth 20% of what you paid for it. So it's down 80%. See, people don't realize that's what happened to the banks. The banks did not get in trouble because they had bad investments. The banks owned U.S. government bonds, the safest investments in the world. The problem was they bought their bonds when they were at 1%, and now if interest rates are at 5 or 6%, those bonds have gone down, 70, 80% in value. They're still going to be worth the same amount once the 10 years or 2 years or however long the bond time period is, that they will get all their money back. But the problem is, if they owned a 10-year bond that was down 80% and somebody comes in the bank and says, I want my money today, well, that's why they had a problem and they had a run on the bank. And so all I said is that instead of putting 40% of your portfolio into bonds, which made no sense when interest rates were 1%, you could argue now that, for the next couple of years, bonds might make sense, because if interest rates fall from here, like, you're going to keep raising rates for a while, but eventually interest rates should start falling because inflation start falling. Well, then those bonds will go up in value. Might be a good play for 2 or 3 years, but I certainly wouldn't put 40% of my money into bonds. And so all I said is that why not move that bond portfolio to annuities or life insurance? You get a bond-like return, bonds typically over time, 3 to 6% type of return, but you don't have the interest rate risk. Where if interest rates go up, the value of annuities does not go down, the value of life insurance doesn't go down. And so to me, it just made a lot more sense to put 60% of your money in the market, and then 40% of your money either in annuities or life insurance. And oh, by the way, Ernst & Young recently came out with a white paper. You can Google it. You can Google Ernst & Young. They're one of the top accounting firms in the world. They don't sell any life insurance or annuities. And they said the optimal retirement portfolio has 30% into an income annuity, 30% into a whole life policy, and 40% into investments. Now, that's not me talking. That's Ernst & Young, one of the top accounting firms in the world. So, I do think life insurance and annuities can play a great role as a bond substitute. Forbes magazine agreed with me. Wall Street Journal just came out last year with an article that said you should move some of your bonds into annuities. Dr. Roger Ibbotson, all right, he did a whole white paper where he compared a 60% stock, 40% bond portfolio to a 60% stock, 40% annuity portfolio. And he said the annuities outperform bonds for the last 40 years and are likely to do so for the next 40 years. So I've always told people, you don't have to move your stocks. Get those bonds out of there and put those into an annuity or into cash value life insurance. I think you're going to be very happy if you do that.
To piggyback on this, there's no doubt rates haven't been this high in a long time. How have increased rates impacted guaranteed income from annuities?
Well, I mean, quite frankly, these are the highest guaranteed lifetime income payments I've seen for a decade, maybe even 2 decades. So you're getting back to, 15, 20 years ago when rates were higher. You're seeing payout rates that we haven't seen in over 10 years, okay? And so now people with guaranteed lifetime income can see payouts that are double digits. They're guaranteed for the rest of their life. If you're 90, you're guaranteed 20% a year for the rest of your life, okay? And the older you are, the higher the guaranteed payout rate. Somebody who's, 65 might be guaranteed 5 or 6%. But as you get older, you can get higher guaranteed payout rates. And so these higher interest rates are helping the payout rates on annuities for sure.
Friends, if you're listening right now and you like what you're hearing, you're not alone. Tom's shows on PBS have been viewed by more than 80 million people in the United States and Canada, and we would love to give you a copy of his best-selling book, Don't Worry, Retire Happy, 7 Steps to Retirement Security. Just give us a call at 866-780-SAFE. That's 866-780-7233. We will give you a copy of Tom's book and a copy of my Safe Money Kit that will show you how to take all of Tom's information and put it together in a bulletproof retirement income plan that is guaranteed to provide you income for the rest of your life. You won't ever have to worry about stock market losses or running out of money ever again. Just give us a call and request a free financial consultation, and we will get you moving in the right direction. Our number is 866-780-7233, and there's someone standing by right now to take your call. If you're just now joining the show today, we have best-selling author and financial expert Tom Hegna as our guest again. Tom, let me ask you this. In today's world, how is financial health linked to physical health?
You know, I recently wrote a new book. I got a new book coming out. I'll talk about it a little later. But it's Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Because I got asked by a couple companies to develop a presentation on financial wellness. And the more I dug into this financial wellness, because that's kind of the buzzword in the industry today, and I found that financial wellness is tied to physical wellness, emotional wellness, mental wellness. And what you're going to find is that people who have financial problems have more physical problems, they have more emotional problems, they have more mental problems. Now, I'm not saying every single person, but in general, that tends to be very true, and that's what the research shows. And and almost all of us have gone through a stressful period in our life. We got laid off, or we were promised a job and it didn't happen, and we went for weeks or months without a paycheck. I mean, I've had it happen to me once or twice in my life, and boy, that's stressful. And that causes all kinds of stress, and you lose sleep. You have digestive issues. I mean, all these things happen when you have financial problems. And then if you have medical problems cost a lot of money, which puts more pressure on the finances. And it's like this circle that keeps going around. And so, being financially fit helps your health, helps your emotional health, helps your mental health. So there's a lot of reasons why you want to be financially fit and work with a financial professional to get a plan so that you know what's happening financially in your life. It will give you great confidence. It will give you peace of mind. Your health will get better. Your emotional health will get better. Your mental health will get better. I think that I was shocked at how much they're tied together.
Tom, I can't emphasize enough how much I agree with you on this. And in the years to come, we're going to see more confirmation of this with all of the research that's being done. And with that being said, let's talk about something that will improve your physical and financial health. Let's talk about guaranteed lifetime income. How do unlimited paychecks, what we call mailbox money, help you enjoy your retirement?
Well, the name of my first book was Paychecks and Playchecks. And Paychecks and Playchecks is a great concept, the paycheck being your basic living expenses and your playcheck being all the fun stuff you want to do. And you don't know how many times when I was an advisor, I was sitting with clients and they were talking and they just weren't really having fun. And I say, you know what the problem is? You don't have enough playchecks. I got to get you some more playchecks. And their eyes would literally light up and they say, yes, that's what we need. We need some more playchecks. And see, one of the nice things about guaranteed lifetime income is that it gives you the license to spend your money. Because you know what happens next month? You get another check. And you can spend all that because you know what happens next month? You get another check. And you can spend that one because guess what happens next month? You get another check. As long as you are breathing, the checks never stop coming. Now compare that to somebody who doesn't have guaranteed paychecks and playchecks and they got a big pile of money. They got $1 million in their 401k and they're scared to death. Market's been down 25%. Oh, if I take too much out, it's going to go down. Oh, we got inflation now. Everything's going wrong. They're nervous. They're upset. They don't dare spend. They live what I call a just-in-case retirement. They don't touch their money. They don't touch their money. They don't touch their money. I used to say to them, wait a minute. You told me when you retired you're going to join the country club. You're going to buy a new boat. You're going to go see the world. Have you done that yet? No. Market's too volatile. Interest rates have been rising. Inflation's going up. And they're panicking. And so they don't touch their money. They don't touch their money. They don't touch their money. Then what happens? They die. What happens to money? Goes to kids. What do the kids do with it? They join the country club. They buy a new boat. They go see the world. No, I want you to join the country club. I want you to see the world. I do not want you to live a just-in-case retirement. And one of the keys to not living a just-in-case retirement is setting up those guaranteed paychecks and playchecks so that you have the license to spend. They'll never run out. You go and spend it every month. Spend all that money every month because the next month, another check is coming. And it just gives people peace of mind. The research shows people are likely to be happier. And now the research shows they're likely to live longer as well. So, I say there's three main reasons why you want to have guaranteed lifetime income. Number one, your portfolio will do better. That's been proven. And Ernst & Young and Dr. Roger Ibbotson and all these people have proven that. Number two, you're likely to be happier. The Wall Street Journal had the headline, "The secret to a happier retirement is friends, neighbors, and a fixed annuity." Time magazine said lifetime income stream key to retirement happiness. All right. So you're going to be happier. And now the research shows you're likely to live longer. Freakonomics had a big podcast on it. It was actually a University of Chicago study. Freakonomics picked up on it, pushed it out through social media. It was a University of Chicago study that studied people who bought guaranteed lifetime income versus people who didn't. You know what they found? The people who bought the guaranteed lifetime income lived longer than the people that didn't. And so Freakonomics put that out in a podcast. Patrick Tricker, he's an attorney. He wrote an article in the Journal for Financial Service Professionals. It was on can longevity insurance increase longevity? And it was about annuities. And he found that in America, a 65-year-old who purchases a lifetime income annuity can expect to live about 20% longer than a 65-year-old person who does not. And it explained why people with guaranteed income tend to live longer. They have less stress. They don't worry. The market's down 40%. Good. They play another 18 holes of golf with their buddy. And because they're being paid to live, guess what? Many of them choose to live differently. They watch what they eat. They exercise. They call the doctor when they're not feeling well. And all these dumb, stupid things tend to cause them to live longer. Even, the book Sense and Sensibility was written back in 1811, all right? Sense and Sensibility, Chapter 2. It says, if you observe, people live forever when there's an annuity to be paid to them. And it just talks about how people live longer with annuities. And just so you know, annuities have been around for thousands of years. The Roman Empire issued annuities. Because, see, running out of money's not a new concern. Running out of money's been the number one concern of people ever since there's been people and there's been money. And the annuity's the only thing you can buy that will guarantee you will never, ever, ever run out of income. If you're breathing, those checks are coming.
Tom, I hear what you're saying, and it sounds so good. Some say that guaranteed income from annuities is too good to be true. Is that the case?
I would answer that by saying no, guaranteed lifetime income is not too good to be true. Guaranteed lifetime income is the exact opposite of life insurance. Think about it. Who sells life insurance? A life insurance company. All right? Well, is there any other product you can buy that will replace a life insurance policy? There's no other product that is going to pay X number of dollars on the day that you die. Only life insurance can do that. Now, isn't it interesting? Only a life insurance company can also issue an annuity. And what is the annuity? It guarantees you a paycheck as long as you're alive. So let's look at the risk to the insurance company, and let me explain why this is so powerful. What is the risk to a insurance company when they sell a life insurance policy? Well, the risk is that the person's going to die real soon. They buy $1 million term policy, bam, they get hit by a bus the next day. The insurance company's out $1 million. The guy died too soon. Well, what's the risk when they sell a lifetime income annuity? That somebody lives too long. She's 115 and she won't quit breathing. And every month she's breathing, those checks got to go. Because an insurance company is on both sides of the mortality and longevity risk scale, they are the only ones that can protect you from dying too soon with life insurance or living too long with guaranteed lifetime income. That's a mathematical, scientific, and economic fact. But now let me show you how it works to their advantage and your advantage, all right? See, because they're on both sides of that risk, they can neutralize mortality and longevity risk to themselves and to you. I spoke in Singapore 8 years ago at the $1 Million Roundtable. It was the first time I spoke in Singapore. And the day before I spoke, I got interviewed by Asia Insurance Review. It's a big magazine. And they said, Tom, we've reviewed your material, and we're very concerned about U.S. life insurance companies that are selling these guaranteed paychecks for life. And I said, really? They've been around for thousands of years. Why would it concern you? Oh, we believe medical technology is developing so rapidly that soon people are going to live to be 100, 110, 120, maybe even 130 years of age. And if these companies are guaranteeing paychecks for life, they're all going to go broke. And I just smiled and I said, well, you got it half right. You're right, they will be paying a lot of lifetime income, but guess what? They won't be paying any death claims on all those life insurance policies they wrote. Do you see? Because an insurance company's on both sides of that longevity and mortality risk scale, they are the only ones that can protect you from dying too soon or living too long. And yes, that is a mathematical, scientific, and economic fact.
Friends, if you think what Tom has been saying today is too good to be true, then you need to read all of the research that's been done by people who have their PhDs. The math doesn't lie. And Tom talks a lot about this in his book, Don't Worry, Retire Happy, 7 Steps to Retirement Security. Just give us a call at 866-780-7233. We will give you a copy of Tom's book and a copy of my Safe Money Kit that will show you how to use all of Tom's information to put together a bulletproof retirement income plan that is guaranteed to provide income to you for the rest of your life. You won't ever have to worry about stock market losses or running out of money again. Just call us and request a free financial consultation, and we will get you moving in the right direction. Our number again is 866-780-7233, and there's someone standing by right now to take your call. Today we have Tom Hegna with us on the show. And Tom, I want to talk to you about something that many financial advisors refuse to talk to their clients about, which honestly blows my mind. In fact, many of our wealthy clients have been fooled into thinking that they don't need permanent life insurance. Why would someone with significant wealth need a permanent life insurance policy?
Well, you know what's interesting? There's some people on the radio or on TV, and they say, only buy term insurance. You know, what's interesting about that is term insurance does not work to leave a legacy to your family. I mean, term only pays if you die young. If you're in your 70s, 80s, 90s, not going to pay because you would have dropped it years ago because term gets to be too expensive. You can't use term life insurance for many business cases. You can't use term life insurance for estate planning. So to say that you can only use term life insurance is ridiculous. I tell people this. Here's the ultimate truth about life insurance. The only policy that matters is the one that's in force on the day that you die. Doesn't that make sense? The only policy that matters is the one that's in force on the day that you die. Well, here's a fact. Less than 2% of term policies are ever in force on the day that you die. Now, that doesn't mean term is bad. It just means you shouldn't have term shouldn't be your only policy. If term is your only policy, you're going to die with zero life insurance in force over 98% of the time. No, term is there when the kids are young, when the bills are high, when the paycheck is small. You use term insurance to get adequate coverage, but you don't want to have all your money in term insurance. And then, you know, some of these people say, well, when you get older, you won't need any life insurance. You'll be rich. Oh, really? Well, the fact is most people don't become rich. And the second thing is, guess who buys the biggest policies? Old rich people do. So if old rich people don't need life insurance, why in the heck are they buying the biggest policies? I'll give you an example. And this is a true story. It's the story of the cash cows. You can read it in my book, Paychecks and Playchecks. But I was called in on an appointment to Sterling, Colorado with a rancher who was worth $15 million. And the advisor was recommending $7 million of whole life insurance to pay for the estate taxes when he died. And we get out there, and the guy goes, I don't know if you thought I was born at night, but I wasn't last night. There's going to be no life insurance here today. I mean, I'm worth $15 million. I can tell you one thing. If I had one more penny to my name, the last place I'd ever put that penny would be life insurance. There will be no life insurance here today. Well, I got up and sat down right next to him. I said, sir, by golly, I got to get on your side of the table on this one. I completely agree. You're worth $15 million. You don't need any life insurance in the traditional sense of life insurance. What you need is a way to transfer your $15 million to your children and grandchildren in the most tax-efficient manner possible. Now, if we could do that with stocks or bonds or real estate, we would. But we can't. It just so happens life insurance can be transferred income and estate tax-free if it's set up properly. So I agree with you. You don't need any life insurance in the traditional sense. What you need is a wealth transfer vehicle that just happens to be life insurance. Well, he looked at me, he said, look, I'm not buying any life insurance here today. I wasn't born last night, and there's the door right there. You can help yourselves right on out. And I'm not making this up. The advisor opened up his bag and he pulled out 4 plastic cows from like a kid's farm set. He set them right on the table. He said, Mr. Rancher, here are your 4 cash cows. This one represents all your land. This one represents all your buildings. This one represents all your farm equipment. And this one represents all your investments. Now, what Tom was trying to say is that if we don't do something, when you die, the IRS is going to come marching in here and they're going to butcher 2 of them there cash cows. They're going to keep all the meat. Now, what I heard Tom say is that we ought to get down and take a little milk out each of them there 4 cows. Now, with this bucket of milk, we're going to buy ourselves a life insurance policy. Now, when you die, the life insurance policy goes to the IRS, but your family gets to keep all 4 of your cash cows. Now, one of those 2 things is going to happen. You get to pick which one. And it was like a light bulb went off in this guy's head. He said, well, heck, every rancher knows it's better give up a little milk than to butcher 2 good cows. Now, what's my point? My point is I couldn't explain estate planning to him. The attorney couldn't explain. The accountant couldn't explain. You put 4 plastic cows in front of the guy, he turns into an estate planning genius. So here's what I say. When you're communicating with clients, keep your message simple and speak their language. Like if I was sitting down with a truck driver, I'd have 4 Tonka trucks on my desk, and we're going to take a little gas each of them 4 Tonka trucks to buy a life insurance policy. Your family gets your whole trucking operation. The IRS gets a policy. You know, you got to speak in their language so they can understand it. But the wealthy people who don't have life insurance, I feel bad because they could be leaving so much more, or they could be giving so much more to charity. I say, don't give money to charity, leave them life insurance, because if you were going to leave charity $50,000, you put the $50,000 life insurance policy, you can give way more than $100,000 when you die. So use the policies to your advantage. They're leveraged. So if you want to give money to children or grandchildren, your spouse or a charity, the most efficient way to give that money is with life insurance.
Tom, this is critical information for our listeners to understand. There's a reason why I talk about owning multiple life insurance policies in both of my best-selling books. And that's because nothing beats tax-free, and nothing protects your family and your estate better than life insurance. So thank you so much for sharing that with our listeners today. Now, with that in mind, I want to talk to you about this for a minute. I purchased my first annuity way back in 2008 during the financial meltdown of this country. And since that time, I've owned more than 6 different annuities and more than 10 different life insurance policies. And these different layers of income protection have been the best decisions I have ever made financially. Why is it essential to ladder your income? And how can you do this with annuities?
Well, yeah, I think laddering or staggering annuities is a great idea. I've always talked about my annuity. I don't sell any annuities. I want everybody to know that. I don't sell any annuities. I don't sell life insurance. I don't sell any financial products. I own 11 annuities. I have some that kick in when I turn age 60. I have some that kick in when I turn age 62. I have some that kick in when I turn age 65, some at age 70, and then some whenever I want, okay? Because I don't know if any of you have seen the movie The Baby Boomer Dilemma, but in that movie, Dr. David Babel, who's, he's been a hero of mine for years. Unfortunately, he passed away right after the movie, but he owned 14 annuities, and he talked about staggered annuities. And he didn't have ones that started at a particular time. All of his were start whenever he wanted. And he said the reason he did that was because the inflation rate, that the only inflation rate that really matters is your own personal inflation rate. For example, if you live in New York City and you don't drive cars, you really don't care what gas prices are, right? You're taking the subway, you're doing that, right? If you're totally healthy, you really don't care if medical prices went up or drug prices went up. It's not your inflation rate, right? But so what he said is the only real inflation rate that matters is the one that affects you. And so he had these 14 annuities. The day he retired, I think he started 7 of them. And then, every so often his wife would say, the checkbook's getting a little tight. And then he'd start another one. And then maybe a couple years later, she said, I could use an extra, $200 a month. And they start another one. And so that's another way to do it. So I have both laddered and staggered annuities. I think it's a great idea. I think it's supported in math and science because the longer you defer the starting of an annuity, the higher your payout rate is, so you're gaining extra income. So yes, I'm a big supporter and believer in laddered and staggered annuities.
That's great advice, Tom. Both my son and I have our RICP designations through the American College of Financial Services. And as you know, that stands for Retirement Income Certified Professional. Tom, you were even a guest speaker during part of that 18-course program. And having been on the radio for 14 years now, this is what I've learned. There are a lot of do-it-yourself investors out there that probably think they don't need any help. And you know what? Maybe they don't. But here's the thing. When you transition in life from making money and saving for retirement into the phases of protecting, distributing, and transferring your wealth, why do you think most people should be working with an expert during this time of life?
Well, I think every retiree should be working with a financial professional. Look, I've said it before, you don't do your own dental work in your garage with your drill set. And I would argue that your retirement plan is way more important than, your wisdom tooth or whatever, tooth problem you're having. Retirement is for the rest of your life. And I don't believe you can do it yourself. Look, I know this stuff in and out. I've written 5 books. I've trained over 300,000 financial advisors. I have a TV specialist played in 80 million homes in U.S. and Canada. I have multiple financial advisors, because look, I know what I'm supposed to do. But when it comes to actually picking the exact company and product, I need somebody that can scan 5,000 different products and narrow it down to 5 or 10 that would work for me. I don't want to go through 5,000 different products. And so I have people who can do the screens on the annuities and life insurance to do it exactly the way that I want to. So yeah, I use a financial professional. I can't imagine not.
Friends, if you want to work with financial experts, you're listening to the right show. I am a certified financial fiduciary, a certified annuity specialist, and a retirement income certified professional. And I've been working with financial experts like Tom Hegna for more than a decade. If you would like to learn more about what you need to be doing to put Tom's advice into practice for your own retirement income plan, just give us a call. We can show you exactly how to do this. Our number is 866-780-7233. When we meet, I will give you a copy of Tom's Roadmap for Retirement. It's his best-selling book, Don't Worry, Retire Happy. Just give us a call and ask for a free financial consultation. I'll also give you a copy of the Retirement Income Style Awareness Questionnaire that was created by Dr. Wade Fowle and Dr. Alex Margia. And we will get you headed in the right direction. That's the direction of safety and guaranteed lifetime income. Our number again is 866-780-7233, and there's someone standing by right now to take your call. Friends, if you're just now joining us for the show today, we have world-renowned economist Tom Hegna joining us. So buckle your seatbelts because Tom is about to share some life-changing information with you. Now, Tom, I know you wrote a very famous white paper titled Retirement Alpha. What does Retirement Alpha mean, and how does it apply to retirement income?
Okay, so I did write a white paper on Retirement Alpha, and what happened was back in, I think it was 2011, there was an FRC white paper, Financial Research Corporation of Boston white paper, on how income annuities improve portfolio performance, okay? And it talked all about how by just putting 20 to 40% of a portfolio into annuity, it's going to reduce the risk, it's going to reduce the downside risk significantly, it's going to increase the performance significantly, and they were really the first ones to say that. And the reason has everything to do with this Retirement Alpha. And Retirement Alpha is just a way of describing the mortality credits that are in an annuity. See, every paycheck you get from an annuity is composed of three parts. Part number one is principal. Anybody can give you principal. Part number two is interest or investment gain. Anybody can give you that. But the third ingredient is the secret sauce. It's called the mortality credits. In Don't Worry, Retire Happy, I call them longevity credits. It's the same thing. It's the extra credit you get for living longer, okay? And so in book Retirement Alpha, my white paper, I called it Other People's Money. That was another title to it because I had an advisor and he said, Tom, I work with a bunch of baby boomers. None of them saved enough money. And the only chance I got is if I put them all in a life income annuity and they all pick life only. And that way the payout rate is high enough that they'll all make it. Now, the people who die early, some of their money is going to go to the people who live longer. But I tell my people this, you don't have enough of your own money to retire. I got to find you some other people's money. And he calls the mortality credits other people's money. And that's really what it is because you have this risk pool. Some people die early, some people live longer. And now you don't have to have your money disappear when you die. You don't have to. You can pick life with cash refund. You can pick life with a guarantee. You can pick life with 20 years certain. But in its purest form, if you pick life only, see, here's the deal. You don't know how long you're going to live. I don't know how long I'm going to live. The insurance company doesn't know how long either one of us are going to live either, but they do know how long 1,000 of us are going to live almost to the exact day. And so they can pay each and every one of us as though they knew exactly when we're going to die because we're all going to get the highest guaranteed paycheck because an annuity will give you the highest guaranteed paycheck of any product in the world. We're all going to get the highest guaranteed paycheck for the rest of our lives. If I die tomorrow, my paycheck stops after tomorrow. If I live to be 120, my paycheck will keep coming till I'm 120. And so, you know, Dr. Menachem Yari proved back in the 1960s that only a lifetime income annuity can optimize income over the indefinite period of a human life. You don't know how long you're going to live. I don't know how long I'm going to live. But the insurance company knows how long 1,000 of us are going to live almost to the exact day, just like with life insurance. I mean, people say, well, an annuity is too good to be true. Well, what about a life insurance policy? If you're 20 and you pay $25 for a life insurance premium, you get hit by a bus, it pays $1 million death claim. Was that too good to be true? Yeah. For that person, that was a really good deal. But you know what? For the other 99% of 20 years, they're still alive. They're paying those premiums. It's all about numbers. It's actuarially, it's all math and science. That's what this all is. But I'm telling you, this Retirement Alpha is an awesome thing. It's the mortality credits. It's the other people's money. It's the extra money that you get.
Friends, if you only heard this one part of the hour-long interview with Tom, it could change the rest of your life forever. Learning this information changed my life 15 years ago, and my family will be blessed for many generations because of it. So let's keep talking about this. Tom, as a general guideline, what is the optimal retirement plan, and what information are you using to back up this strategy?
So, Paychecks and Playchecks was really the math and science behind a successful retirement. I studied the works of Dr. David Babel, Dr. Moshe Malevsky of Toronto, Dr. Menachem Yari of Israel, Dr. Wade Fowd, Dr. Michael Finke of the American College. You got Nobel Prize recipients, Dr. William Sharp, Dr. Robert C. Merton. It's all very clear. There is an optimal way to retire. And in Paychecks and Playchecks, what I love about Paychecks and Playchecks, it concludes with 4 very simple steps. Step number 1, you want to cover your basic living expenses in retirement with guaranteed lifetime income. All right. Step number 2, you want to then optimize the rest of your portfolio to protect yourself against inflation. See, the guaranteed lifetime income will protect you from running out of money. It'll protect you from deflation. It'll protect you from market risk. It'll protect you from order of returns risk, withdrawal rate risk. What it doesn't protect you against is inflation. So step number 2, you want to invest your money to protect yourself against inflation. Step number 3, you must have a plan for long-term care. And step number 4, the most efficient way to pass wealth to children, grandchildren, and charities is with life insurance. That was what Paychecks and Playchecks was all about. It was just the simple, optimal way to do it. Now, what I did with Don't Worry, Retire Happy, I did the Paychecks and Playchecks presentation down in San Diego, probably almost 9 years ago now, and somebody that was there from PBS, Public Television. They said, Tom, we need to take this message out to the American people. They're getting the wrong message from all these other talking heads, but we're not sure they're really going to understand this Paycheck and Playcheck thing. We would need a simpler title. So I wrote Don't Worry, Retire Happy. Now, Don't Worry, Retire Happy had 7 steps. You say, yeah, but Paychecks and Playchecks had to have 4. Yeah, well, this is TV. We had to expand a little. So step number 1, you want to have a plan and work with a financial professional. Step number 2, you want to maximize your Social Security benefits. Step number 3, you should consider a hybrid retirement. That's kind of working part-time in retirement. Step number 4, you got to protect yourself against inflation. So there's the inflation protection. Step number 5, you got to have that guaranteed lifetime income. So that's the same. Step number 6, you got to have a plan for long-term care. That didn't change. Step number 7, use your home equity wisely. It's talking about using home equity in wise ways. And then I end the book with the most efficient way to pass wealth to children, grandchildren, and charities is with life insurance. So those are the optimal ways to do it. And again, it's all based in math and science. These aren't my opinions. The research is in all the books. I list all the references. And now you've got the Ernst & Young white paper. Now BlackRock just came out with a thing that says if you put an annuity in your portfolio, you're going to have 29% more income for the rest of your life, and you're going to lower your risk by another 15%. That's BlackRock. They have $7 trillion in the stock market. If they thought the stock market was a place for all your money, I promise you they would have written a white paper that said that. They didn't. Ernst & Young didn't write that either, okay? Neither did the Wall Street Journal. So, I mean, you can take the advice of the experts, or you can kind of wing it and do it yourself. But I am telling you, this is what I do with my own retirement. I am not just talking the talk. I'm walking the walk. I'm 75% retired right now.
Now, Tom, you've used the word annuity a lot today. And many years ago, the word annuity was a 4-letter word, though I know that's changed. Do you think people actually hate annuities? Or do you think they just don't understand them?
No, I really don't believe that people hate annuities. I believe they're uneducated about annuities, because if anybody tells me that they think annuities are bad, or if annuities are expensive, or annuities are a ripoff, then I know they don't know what annuities are, because you could not read the research I've read and done all the research I've done and think annuities are bad. That would be ridiculous, okay? Annuities do things that no other product in the world can do. It's just like saying, oh, life insurance is bad. Well, life insurance is not bad. It's the best thing at being life insurance. Annuities are not bad. It's the best thing you got for income for the rest of your life. So, it's about using them properly. Most people don't know that most annuities are not even fee products. You get somebody on TV who says, oh, they got nosebleed level fees. Well, they're talking about variable annuities. They're not talking about fixed annuities, okay? So a fixed annuity is not a fee product. A single premium immediate annuity is not a fee product. A deferred income annuity is not a fee product. A base fixed index annuity is not a fee product, okay? So I just think there's a lot of misinformation out there, and if people just want to go to tomhegna.com, I'll get them straight. I got a YouTube channel. You can watch them. They're all free. And again, I lay out all the research. This is not my opinion. This isn't my ideas. This is the research of the top PhDs in the world, including Nobel Prize recipients.
Tom, as you know, most of my listeners are in the 50-plus age group. I know they're concerned about how they will retire without financial stress, but I'm also sure they're concerned about the financial futures of their children and grandchildren. So before we wrap up this show, tell everyone about your new book, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, that's geared toward the younger generations.
Yes, so I got a new book coming out. It just came out. It's Tom Hegna's Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. And you know what's different about this book is I've spent my entire career helping baby boomers retire the optimal way. I've talked about protecting wealth. I've talked about distributing wealth. I've talked about giving wealth. But I haven't really talked about building wealth. So this was for Generation X, Y, Z, millennials on how to build wealth so that they too someday could retire. So that's what the book is about. It's about building wealth.
Tom, thank you so much for joining us for the third time right here on Safe Money Radio.
Hey, thank you so much for having me today. That was a lot of fun, and I look forward to coming back and joining you again sometime.
Friends, it is an honor to bring you information from the world's leading economists right here on Safe Money Radio every single week. On today's show, you heard Tom mention financial experts like Heather Schreiber, Dr. Michael Finke, and Dr. Wade Pfau, and they have all been guests on this show multiple times. We are the longest-running financial planning show here in the Ozarks, and we are committed to bringing you the best and the most accurate research regarding ways to keep your money safe, ways to generate guaranteed lifetime income, and ways to give you peace of mind in retirement. If you would like to read a copy of Tom's book, or if you would like to read a copy of my book, Bulletproof, The Safe and Secure Retirement Income Plan, just give us a call at 866-780-7233. We will give you a copy absolutely free. And if you missed any part of this hour-long interview with world-renowned economist Tom Hegna, just go to Spotify, iTunes, or YouTube and tune in to the Safe Money Radio podcast with Brad Pistole. Call us anytime at 866-780-SAFE. That's 780-7233. There's always someone standing by, ready to take your call. Well, I'm about out of time, and I would like to thank you for listening to Safe Money Radio. If you're serious about your financial future, give me a call, and together we'll get your retirement savings on the fast track to accumulation while reducing exposure to market losses. Thanks for listening, and until next time at the same time, I'm Brad Pistole, reminding you to stay safe so you can step into a secure future.
Safe Money Radio, your money safe and sound.
You've been listening to Safe Money Radio with your host, Brad Pistole. Find out how to contractually guarantee that your hard-earned money is safe while avoiding market loss so you can have the retirement that you deserve. Call Brad Pistole now for your complimentary Safe Money book and Safe Money information kit at 866-780-SAFE. That's 866-780-7233.
Safe Money Radio, your money safe and sound.
The preceding information does not represent tax, legal, or investment advice. Surrender charges apply to base contracts. Optional lifetime income benefit riders are used to calculate lifetime payments only and are not available for cash surrender or in a death benefit unless specified in the annuity contract. Fees may apply. Guarantees are based on the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the insurance company. No information presented today should be acted upon without meeting with a qualified and licensed professional. Obviously, by calling us now, you are just taking the first step towards protecting your retirement. It's important that you read all insurance contract disclosures carefully before making a purchase decision. Rates and returns mentioned on this program are subject to change without notice.